The story is set in futuristic China. A level 5 demon frog appeared from nowhere. To counter this Naruto-level threat, a group of cultivators rode their flying swords into battle. They all look powerful and mighty, aside from the one chick that got blasted with a beam head-on. Midst the battle, a guy spots a carefree kid just strolling down the street as if it was just another casual day in this magical world. Seeing the frog was about to teabag the kid into another dimension, he swept down, saved the kid, and went back to show the frog who is boss. Sadly, the boss fight was cut to a modern-day high school setting where a statue of the Demon Slayer was built. On his first day in the new high school, Ling gets pressured by upperclassmen to buy protection from bullies. Otherwise, they will be bullies. People watched and felt bad for the new kid, but ultimately did nothing. Thus, soon Rong came to the rescue. The strong, independent woman kicked some ass, did a monologue on how she will protect anyone in need like this rank 5 who was getting bullied, and talked some more about how awesome she is before extending a hand of gratitude to Ling. However, the mad lad, instead of shaking her hand, gave the chick $10, said thank you, have a wonderful day, and then walked away. No questions answered, no ducks given. #GigaChad. Later, Zhou Yi, the hero of the district, gave the freshmen a pep talk and wished them luck at the entrance exam. A much-needed thing, seeing that their foe will be the essence of the Demon King. The first guy to enter the pitch-dark room was the animator of the frog, and oh boy! One would think from the time the animator took to draw extra lines for his facial and the way the kids were talking about him, the 4 Eyes would be a powerhouse, but no. That poor bastard got humbled by his own work, live for everyone to see. Soon after, one by one the students fell like flies into average and below average classes, except for Chen Chao and his buddy Guo Hao. During this time, it is revealed that the frog is still conscious and locked under the campus, waiting for the best time to break out by sucking some power from the students. After a century, the Demon King's escape is near thanks to Sun Rong's high force value, which she demonstrates by managing to be the first person to push back the frog cage, landing her in the highest rank and the other students' hearts. Consequently, this leaves Ling in an awkward situation where all eyes are on him, including Sun Rong, but the main man doesn't care. In fact, he's only thinking about how much it will take to land him in class ordinary. You see, our guy has options, and the frog certainly knows that. Once Ling entered the room, the demon started hearing boss music. Yup, remember the boss battle we didn't get to see? Turns out Zhou Yi wasn't shit. The man with the yee-yee-ass haircut got bodied real quick. Before the final blow was struck, Kid Ling entered the fight with his signature boss music and kicked the hell out of the frog, ending it with one hit. The defeat was so humiliating and bad that it got the Demon King to break the fourth wall and call out the boss music whenever it cues, which bring us back to modern day. The Frog King still remembers that lazy, average-looking NPC face. That said, Ling forgot, and he went on his test as everyone else after lowering his power level, but Froggy didn't know, and was worried if his soul would be gone forever. Suddenly, the cam went off with an explosion only to return online showing the frog on his back, but in Ling words he said, "What's wrong with it? I didn't even hit it." Although the other kids think Sun Rong did all the damage and Ling went into a soft, weak soul, the truth is, Froggy played dead, and his soul went back to his actual body. Yet that didn't stop Ling from passing and going to class elite to his dismay. Now at the top of the school classes, all students get their first lesson on how to summon beasts. While Chen's attempt was funny, and his buddy was downright sad, Sun Rong's attempt was hella impressive, being the only one to summon a spirit, yet not a powerful one in her opinion, leaving our boy to last. As usual, with all eyes on him, possibly thinking he would summon something pathetic, and Ling's desire to not stand out, Ling delivered the opposite of all that, and summoned the Demon King by mistake. The teacher was fast on her feet to use a totem and reshape the demon frog into a demon dog, aka Froggy 2. Using all the commotion over the adorable demon frog, Ling walked out, only noticed by the teacher. Moving on, we get to see the baby arc of the main man, and how he crawled out of the womb without any assistance to see his shocked dad. The narrator continues to explain, as the chosen one, the kid had to endure an immeasurable torment from a young age, since he can hear people's thoughts. In other words, he learned way too soon about people's deceit and intentions, which always resulted in baby Ling trying to figure out how to solve the situation. Therefore, to keep a peaceful mind, Ling decided to keep a low profile. However, at age 6, when he defeated the Demon King, his parents were watching on and decided as a family to keep a low profile. by making amulets to contain some of his overwhelming force. Now in the present time, Ling is enjoying a family dinner when his power creeps in and ruins his dish, so his mother swaps in like a ninja before he further destroys the dining set and hands him a golden pill, since the amulet he has is reaching its limit. On his way to his room, Ling overhears his parents reasoning on why they need the debuff pills and containing amulets. It's for Ling to have the chance and enjoy somewhat of a normal life, a life he couldn't experience as a child. Back at the school, an election happens between Chen and Sunron for the class president position. During this event, Ling's love for noodles is used to get him to vote for Sunron, who at the time bought all the available ramen packs and promised them for free as long as the students vote for her. Ling buys a couple and heads off before Sunron reveals her true intention and casts a spell to make everyone fall for her. Important to note that Ling had left the chick a golden pill to make things even. In class, the teacher gives a lesson on the love spell Rong casts, and how the caster needs to gift someone a present before citing the spell. At that moment, Ling realizes what happened, and starts looking the girl's way, embarrassing her. As the class continues, we learn that there are 3 ways to break the spell. 1, being stronger than the caster. 2, is repaying the gift with another one to make things even. Both ways Ling got covered. Ling tries to make sure that Sunron received the golden pill and tries to explain its nature, but the chick thinks that he's telling her to eat it to increase her power, and when she does, the pill immediately takes into effect, making her feel as if she was free falling. Checking the 3rd way to break the spell, a lack of force to maintain it. The next day, students bring furnaces for the pill-making lessons. Chen fantasizes about Rong drooling over him for his yet-to-be-achieved success in making a pill. However, when the girl of the hour arrives, she brings him back to reality, as she calls for the rank 5's name. When Ling turned, he realized the love spell had activated on her, so he undone it in front of everyone who thought Ling was being flirty with her. In basic vitality pill class, Guo Hao is confident in his pill-making skills. He even bought a top-tier furnace that Froggy 2 senses a spiritual power within. On the other side, Chen completely and utterly failed. He destroyed his family's prized furnace for trying to make one pill in it, which was not compatible with the size of his thing. Speaking about size, the demon frog used to grow in power and stature once he devoured weaker spiritual powers. So it was not surprising he sneaked into the room when everyone left for a break to eat the stove spirit. After a brief funny pause, the dog makes a run for it and Ling follows. Doggy thinks he managed to outsmart the stupid human, not knowing he was standing behind him. Meanwhile, Chen is running on the track lap after lap with tears in his eyes as he knows he fucked up big time. After reaching his breaking point, Chen is overcome with the mind evil, showing him humiliating hallucinations, and he becomes possessed. Back to the magical stove situation, Hao ran into Ling, who was cleaning his stove. Naturally, the big fella thought that this lazy bastard was trying to sabotage his work, and although Ling explained the situation, Hao could not believe it. With the spirit stove too exhausted to confirm, Hao decides that violence is the only way and shoots Ling with his water gun, but the main man dodges and the nasty solution gets into his buddy's mouth. After examining Chen, Ling concludes he suffers from a mild mind evil illness, which he can heal pretty easily. However, the chubby fella was freaking out thinking he fatally harmed him, so he grabs the main man and pressures him to give a hand in hiding the body. Although Ling tries to explain that he can cure him, Hao cuts him yet again mid-sentence, and offers to forget about the stove thing if Ling manages to make a healing potion, as he thinks the nasty stuff he squirted into his mouth was the cause of this situation. Therefore, the boys get to work and finish prepping the pills, but since it will take almost 6 hours till it's finished cooking, they are still f***ed. Well, that was until Froggy 2 crept his way to eat the furnace once again. Hao shot him with a magical beam, which in turn was transferred into a raw magical power that could speed up the cooking process. Using Froggy's 2 special forces of manipulating time, the boys managed to finish the pills and give one to Chen, but since it will take until the end of the day to heal him, Hao panics when he hears the teacher is approaching. Ling gives him the nod that he will take care of the cleaning while he distracts the teacher. When they enter the room, it's as if everything is normal. Ling has hidden the unconscious Chen in his own stove, which the latter finds fixed when he wakes up, all thanks to Ling and Hao. In the following days, action continues when 2 snipers climb the roof of a building and aim for Rong, who at the time was asking the main man for a date, directly to his face in front of everyone. The sniper tries to shoot her, but Ling sees through his actions and sends a painful force shock toward him. Unaware of what's happening, Rong insists on her date with the lazy boy. To his luck, the teacher arrives and takes him to his office. Consequently, the snipers give up. Froggy sees them leaving. Back in the school, Ling agreed to go on a date, thinking the swift response would calm Soon and possibly make her forget about the date. But instead, it started a social media situation. The students started texting in between themselves about the quote-unquote public love affair. Now at the teacher's office, Ling meets Zhou Yi, who has been looking for him ever since the main man defeated the frog, because Zhou Yi wants to train under him. However, Ling doesn't want to deal with this headache and uses his force to make Zhou Yi forget this meeting has ever happened. The next day, Ling dresses up for his date with Rong, who is waiting at the doorsteps. His parents are thrilled about his date, unlike him who is still rocking his bunny pajamas. Rong takes him to a theme park her grandfather built. They cleared it just for the young couple. As they were about to try a fortune teller statue, the assassin jumped, took a goofy-ass JoJo pose, and shot his shot. However, Ling catches the bullet with his teeth. After saving her multiple times, Ling keeps pulling the classic Men in Black trick and erases the recent memories of Rong. That said, when they go for a ride on the freewheel, the assassin manages to get a ride after them. Zhou Yi sees the bad guys and calls for backup. Although the assassins jumped the duo once the fireworks started, Ling was grateful as he needed a moment of silence after this long day. At that moment, Rong shows her true colors as the best girl when she steps up to protect Ling. Naturally, the whole situation pisses off the main man, who now seems to have let the best girl into his heart, so he stands up with his eyes glowing. No need to explain, but once the eyes glow, someone has to go. Ling uses telekinesis to throw them off the wheel to then summons a fire phoenix to make them a part of the fire show. Evidently, Ling doesn't erase Rong's memories. Instead, they make a promise to keep what happened that night a secret. Back in the bunny house, the assassin's big boss is absolutely livid about her men failing to kill the girl, making it a stain on the organization's flawless successful contract records. Therefore, they start spying on the girl during school hours, while she is fangirling over her boy. Likewise, the boys were acting like fans for scoring a date with such a baddie. The convo gets cut short when they find themselves surrounded by security. The teacher informs them that bodyguards got assigned to Rong in school for her safety, as well as her friends. Then Zhou Yi tells the lads that he was the one who stopped the assassins the night of the date, after Ling's demands, of course. Zhou Yi later reveals the organization has ordered Rong's name to be put on the shadow kill list. In other words, her life is now forfeit according to the lore of the show. On the other end, through the fly cam, the bunny leader now thinks Zhou Yi is the one who defeated her men. Also, the fly shows her all the layers of security that Zhou Yi implemented before a team of snipers put the mechanical fly down from a helicopter. Yet with all the security measures, it's still not enough. Ninja C tunnels his way to the first entrance in stealth and bonks security guards with a rubber chicken hammer. He also does this cool Assassin Creed dive to clear the first portion of security for Brother B, who gives him a heads up that he has been spotted. The footage of the security break got transmitted into the teacher's room in HD, and while the grown-ups are worried for the kids' safety, the group couldn't care less as they are chatting on social media and gossiping about the lovebirds' date. Soon after, Brother B makes his way to the school building in a noisy fashion, brothering his stealthy brother as it draws the attention of the rest of the guards to them, including the teacher of Class Elite. That said, Brother A, their captain, is thrilled by this turn of events as it allows him to slip by unnoticed and use his invisible trick to sit tight and gather his power in the hammer to destroy the floor under him. Back inside the building, the teacher shows his skill and why he is in charge of the elite class. Dem extra pounds are not made of fat, but of muscle and sheer awesomeness that forces the kid to run away. Yet, thanks to Ling exiting the room at the last second to go get his ramen delivery, Brother B gets stopped at his track. Likewise, Brother C gets stopped by an unlikely person, or rather a thing. Froggy two-bit the living force out of the redhead ninja, turning his hair gray, before finishing him in his demon frog form. Finally, Ling makes his way to the roof to get his prized noodles delivered by a drone as he passes by Brother A, who thought he wasn't able to see him. Ling destroys his confidence by telling him, "Nah, homie, I saw you as soon as you got your ass here." Angered by the sheer disrespect coming his way, Brother A says, "F the job, we gotta represent," and then power up to bonk Ling. Now, according to the Joker's theorem from the 2008 movie, when an unstoppable force meets with an unmovable object, something is bound to happen, and in this case and scenario, the object wins, and the hammer breaks. As usual, Zhou Yi gets to the scene at the right time to take credit for defeating the assassin. Yet, there was an unexpected reveal. The following day, we learn the attack indeed did nothing to harm him, but Ling used it to skip school on sick leave, a thing his mother doesn't like. In fact, she tells him to go back to school the next day. When his friends visit, though, she joins in the lie for the sake of her average son's image. Soon, Rong uses this chance to cozy up with his mother using the power of money. After his mother leaves, soon Rong uses this opportunity to get a bit kinky with the healing process. Chen interrupts and hands him a bracelet to test their force value. It was given to them by the school. Seeing it's either the power test or the needle, Ling leaps from his bed like Usain Bolt, ready to get back to school as his mother suggested. First to take the test is Chen. He explains how the size of the sphere reflects the power of the user, and visualizing it makes them officially a cultivator. During that moment, students from all around the districts are measuring their power. But one particular faction is taking it way too seriously, with their student president scoring the top mark. This brings us to the other prodigy who was worried about breaking anything in the house if her sphere turned out to be too big, but the Dragon Ball cosplayers convinced her otherwise. Sure enough, it made a big impact and landed her in second place, much to Faction 59's surprise. But now it's the main man's turn. As soon as he starts visualizing, the sucky force of his power is way too much, so he decides to locate the sphere in a safe location, i.e., freaking space, hoping it will be enough to make him land in a normal position. However, the error the bracelet made, after putting him in first place with no number, gave him more attention than expected. Thus, Ling visits his buddy Guohao's home to hack the school system and change the score to a lower one. Likewise, another hacker is also looking for Ling's information, and funny enough, the two hackers meet midway, and eventually trigger the alarm, booting both parties out, but not before changing the chairman's name in the official ranking lists to something ridiculous. Don't ask about it, I don't get Chinese humor sometimes. The teacher checks the results, and Miss Pan is surprised at the sight of Wang Ling being at the top. And since Miss Perfect also landed in the top 5, the school's overall score got boosted by these two, putting them head-to-head with Faction 59 for a battle to supremacy, much to Pan's surprise. You see, in the past, whenever Section 60 and Section 59 met in battle, the home school always ended up on the losing side. They only managed to score a draw once thanks to the brilliance of Zhou Yi, who at the time was a student. However, Zhou Yi himself and the big teacher are confident of this year's students. Similarly, the students of Faction 59 are also shown confident while doing a practice run for the media. Chairman Tang answers a couple of questions on how they are prepared and ready for the upcoming exams. He also mentions the best girl, and it seems they have some sort of history together. Back in the teacher's office, Pan is still against the idea of going head-to-head with the other school, so Zhou Yi tries to rizz her up before realizing she has reduced their combat class to more theoretical ones. Pan also reminds them that they are missing a 5th member, to which Zhou Yi tells her, "No need to worry, we have the 5th member right here." He then proceeded to mess around with Froggy too, as if he wasn't the Demon King that almost killed him 10 years ago. Zhou Yi makes a deal with the Demon Dog. If he performs at the battle exams, he might consider removing the seal on the demon's actual body. Hearing this, Froggy too gets fired up and registers his force value, which lands him in second place below his master and above the Four-Eye Chairman. Later, when the names of the participants are declared, the lads make a group chat to talk about the upcoming tournament. They also show off their spirit sword. Chen had a big sword that his father forged, and Guo Hao had a dagger sword, both still not awakened yet. While Sun Rong had a spiritual sword, an awakened one, which is quite impressive for someone at her age and rank. But what took the spotlight was Froggy with his sword Sky. With the side characters finished, the only remaining person to show his sword was the main man himself. After being pressured by the group, Ling confirms that he does have a sword. Nobody seemed to notice that Ling was not interested in competing, or showing up if that matters, as he had fears if he unleashed his powers, the world might end. That said, it's a commitment he can't run from, so he goes down to ask his parents where they put his sword. Meanwhile, it was being broadcasted that the government had caught some of the shadow assassins, and Zhou Yi put a challenge that he would be coming for the big boss soon. who was watching with a smirk on her face. Back to Ling's household, we see the main man opening a box in the attic. From it, a boy appears saying hello to his master, whom he hasn't seen for a long time. So what does Ling do next? He shoves the little fella back in. The next day, the boys meet and compare swords. Chen first thinks he has the upper hand due to his big sword, but when Rong points out how much she likes Ling's little stick, it breaks the big lug's heart, as he also tries to break his sword in half. That said, Froggy 2 was the only one able to see how huge the spiritual force within that little sword was. Soon after, the teachers arrived to take the kids to Faction's 59 campus, where they plan to stay the night. However, the news comes that the good guys have caught the Shadow Faction leader, so Zhou Yi bids his master farewell and heads to question the baddie. Sadly, it was a trap. You see, Zhang Liuying has made a mechanical copy of herself. For them to capture that way, it will create an opening for her to follow Rong and end her as well as the contract. On the bus, Sword Boy tries to get out and check the outside world, but Ling manages to talk him down, and then bribes him with some noodles, which shows how similar the two are. When Faction 60 arrives, it becomes clear how much the Cougars dislike each other, even though they were close friends once in the past. Their rivalry is quite funny, especially when they tease each other when it comes to Rong. I mean, just look at those facial expressions. And the disrespect continues when Pan starts criticizing a lackey of her old friends. So in return, Chie fires a bolt of light at Ling. This was the perfect opportunity for Ling to fake illness and get out of the competition, yet the home team didn't know that, so they accused the teacher of hurting him, which she denied, claiming the beam was just an ability to see what his actual rank was. However, it was strong enough to ruin the power seal on Ling's neck, causing a massive power explosion. Meanwhile, Liu Ying gets informed that her traps have failed, as Zhuo Yi managed to disable the bomb last second. Anyways, medics take Ling to treat him, and Sunron follows, but she gets cut by Tang, who tries to remind her of the good old days they spent in prep school. However, Rong doesn't care about the douche or what he's been up to. The only thing on her mind is her boy. Considering the bastard is not going to stop yipping and yapping, Rong decides to shut him with her fist. As a result, Yin, his assistant, steps in to protect him. In turn, the boys try to help Rong, but they also get stopped by the other lackeys. Consequently, we learn that the fifth member of Faction 59, the one responsible for setting Ling on fire, is a delinquent who doesn't care about rules. And from the looks on Chairman Tang's face, it doesn't seem he likes working alongside him. Back to the main man's situation, when the medic removed the bandages that Chie covered him with, they found nothing. Ling has already escaped them using an ability, which ultimately has done more damage to his amulet, and now he's only a few abilities away from breaking it and causing a spiritual explosion that will destroy the world. So Ling calls his father to fill him on the situation and get a new amulet. Meanwhile, the group makes their way to the gym where Chie tells them about the rules of the competition. There are 5 points of interest. If a group manages to catch them by inserting their sword in a shrine for 10 seconds, the point will be theirs. Tang points out how the home team is down a member. Hao tells him, likewise, you blind f***. But the latter was like, look again. Lo and behold, the person responsible for the attack on Ling emerges from the water with a flower in hand for Sunron. Fong offers to join their team and help them defeat Faction 59 if she takes the flower. Naturally, this doesn't sit well with 59 nor Chen, so the latter attacks him to defend his queen/friend. However, the bastard is way too strong for Chen and gets yeeted away multiple times, yet Chen is one tough cookie to crack, and he stands back up with the most hype monologue. Sadly, no number of badass lines is enough to beat the bastard, and Chen gets his arm erased from reality. Luckily, the door opens and Ling arrives to catch his boy and restore his arm. Turns out, Bufeng is a negative energy user, which Professor Wang explains to be a very dangerous kind of force that can cause an explosion once it comes into contact with positive energy. Although Bufeng is indeed powerful compared to the students and others, Froggy 2 knows the true power of destruction lies within Wang Ling, since once the negative power burst out from his seal, it will be enough to destroy the world. With all the serious vibes in the air, there is still some room for a silly moment with Ling and his father, who is going to run late because he got stopped to pay for a ticket. Back to serious matters, seeing how Ling was able to regrow Chen's arm, he becomes more intrigued and leaps to punch Ling, who is now closer to breaking due to the spell he cast a minute ago. However, the mad lad takes it on the chin and acts as if nothing happened, before further embarrassing Bufeng by taking the rose off him and handing it to his girl. Sword Boy offers to take the douche out, but Ling shuts him down. Speaking about the douche, he seemingly has recovered from Sun Ron's rejection and now is trying to rizz up Liu Ying while she was trailing Sun Ron. Yet, like his last shot at the girls, this one also ends miserably. Too miserably, I would say, as the assassin didn't only reject him, but also humiliated him and kicked his ass. And to make it funnier, while Ling was getting back to his room with a new pack of noodles, he ran into the two who looked like they were having some sort of a kinky session. Evidently, Liu Ying ties the boys and takes them to the roof. There, she keeps pushing Ling's buttons and humiliates him. Suddenly, clouds start forming, indicating shit is about to go down, and sure it was, as our boy was entering his villain arc. Well, until Jinkei, his sword, snapped him out of the state by yelling, "Tasty noodles are on sale." Soon after, Liu Ying's driver hands her some of the douche's hair for her disguise. Meanwhile, the teams are talking about the competition, and the members participating each criticizing the other choice of members. Then all of a sudden, Fong enters the room to tell everyone that Ling was kidnapped. Yes, he is still tied up, and his hairline is still messed up, thanks to the old man who is keeping an eye on the boys. Also, don't let appearances fool you. Just like Ling, this old-timer has a sleeper build, i.e., he is strong AF. Back to the fake Fong downstairs. He was being questioned by Zhou Yi about the person responsible for the kidnapping. Yin uses her special ability to track down the last big spiritual surge on the campus, locating it in the school's old building. Therefore, Sun Ron makes a stand and promises to bring her boy home, safe and sound. Speaking about her boy, he is currently deep in sleep while the driver is jamming to old tunes, but Jinkei wakes him up to tell him that people are nearby. Bufeng senses it and starts calling for help, so the old man levels him to the down floor. While making their way onto the roof, Yin tells Tang to be careful of Bufeng as he seems different. That said, the one they had to be careful of at the moment was the driver. This old-timer is an absolute unit. He was dropping groups left and right, before summoning his own army. Soon Rong stepped in to stop the army attack, but the guy's experience was too much for her to handle. However, as soon Rong was at her limit, time seemed to rewind. Bufeng did get curb-stomped, but the one who was left standing on the roof was Zhou Yi. As usual, he was there to take credit for Ling's work. The next day, Jinkei gets assigned to watch over the unconscious Fong. Believing with Fong out of the picture, he will not have to compete. Unbeknown to him, Liu Ying in Fong's costume was standing as the fifth member of Faction 59, which confused Ling at the time. As the contestants were being spirited away, Wang Ling heard his father's voice calling for him. Sadly, Papa Wang was second too late to hand his son the new amulet. The teacher welcomes Papa Wang, and then Yi takes him aside, and learns that the amulet on Ling's neck is about to break. From a flashback, we learn that the amulets not only constrain Ling's force, but also his emotions. As soon as Faction 59 lands, they get straight into business. Yin uses her ability to sniff out the places of their opponents. She locates Bufeng near the dog. Meanwhile, Sun Rong is near the altar of water, and through the process of elimination, they determine Ling's landing location. Hearing the weakest link is by himself, a lackey rushes to face him. This leaves Guo Hao, who was eavesdropping on them, when they noticed a sword to the back was their response. But turns out it was a dummy he controls to gather information. Information that led him to follow the lackey to help his boy Ling. On the other side, Chen heads to the altar of iron. It's called that because the leaves are razor sharp. There he met Yin. Being the gentleman he is, Guo Hao offers Yin to make the first move, and the little missy gladly takes him up on that offer. Once the big lug looks around, he finds out he's surrounded by webs which Yin uses to make him beat himself. Watching from the other side, it's confirmed the students can't be killed inside the arena, but they will experience every bit of pain as if it was real. Back at the battleground, the doggo is having a standoff with the douche. Once the little weasel has his fill of negative energy, he leaves with a smile on his face, thinking about all the extra energy he will be feasting on. Talking about extra power, Ling finds himself face to face with the lackey. Thankfully, his boy Hao comes just in time to battle the guy with his ability to turn insults into physical weapons. Meanwhile, Princess Sun Ron is faced by the creep Tang as she is about to capture the altar of water. Both old acquaintances have their spirit swords out to battle on their behalf. When Fong captures the altar of fire, he asks him to come to his aid. At the same time, Yin captured the altar of iron, forcing Faction 60 to a corner. Feeling the pressure, Sun Ron goes all out to try and capture the altar before Fong arrives. Yet the Four Eyes is pretty good. He froze the lake, making it hard for Sunron to battle or even escape once fake Fong arrived. To her luck, a surge of dark energy destroyed the ice, creating an opening for her to escape. So Tang assigns Fong to follow Sun Rong. As Fong was heading out, the former confirmed that he knew Fong was not the real one, but did give a word if he helped him to win, Tang will do his best to give fake Fong what he wants. However, the tides of battle started changing when Faction 60 captured the Altar of Wood thanks to the combined forces of Froggy 2 and Ling. Don't worry, we will give you a recap of what happened. Guo Hao was indeed holding his ground against the side character using his mouth cannon. The big guy was throwing insults left and right, but he was running out of shit to say, and because he didn't know enough about the guy, Guo Hao was in a tight position. The lackey was getting too confident and started disrespecting Ling. Naturally, this sight didn't sit well with his first friend, so he started calling out Ling for all his flaws and shortcomings, but not before apologizing first. While Guo Hao roasted the hell out of his boy to fight the lackey, Ling's amulet was further breaking since he couldn't suppress the feelings he was experiencing. Therefore, Froggy 2 leaped and bit Ling to prevent the massive negative energy explosion. Although the demon dog did it out of the goodness of his heart, it was revealed that Ling planned for this moment so he could use his power freely. And out of that big kaboom, a new transformation was born. A combo of man and dog emerged to whop some ass. What was satisfying, though, through this goofy transformation, was Ling utterly and completely dismantling both the lackey's sword and his dignity, sending him soaring through the sky. Chie saw that and was so impressed, she started humping Prof. Wang. Moving on, Faction 60 manages to capture another altar, and the third is soon to follow with Ling heading for the Altar of Metal, so Tang sends Fong to meet him there. The Four Eyes explain that to win this competition they will have to rotate on the map and keep dropping some altars to stay ahead thanks to their initial advantage. Surely enough, Faction 59 manages to recapture all the altars, aside from the metal one Ling is located at. Therefore, Wang Ling powers up and increases his speed to reclaim the altars, but since there is a 10-second wait till the altar is theirs, achieving this feat is pretty tricky. Before he sets off, Sun Ron calls in to fill the group on their situation and how to move forward, splitting and capturing the points, which she is confident they can do with Ling on their side. Hearing this, our boy gets all shy and stuff, and Doggy notices it too. That said, Faction 60 plan kicks off with Hao and Sunron sneaking into the Altar of Fire to capture it. We get to see Sun Rong and Tang's rivalry from a young age, how their families, although similar, don't mix well, like oil and water. The families have competed with each other for centuries to show who's the better one, and now this battle for supremacy continues at the Altar of Fire. As Guo Hao was trying to hit his counterpart with his mouth cannon, the fat guy tripped and it hit Sun Rong instead. Remembering her father's words, Sun gets back up and fights to protect the altar. Unfortunately, Tang sends his spirit sword to stop her from claiming the point. Meanwhile, Yin has made it to the Altar of Water to keep an eye on Ling, so that if he tries to go to another point, they can slip and capture it. On the other end, fake Bufeng has made his way to the Altar of Metal, where Chen now has to make a stand. Like Sun Rong, the big lug remembers his father's words, or rather harsh treatment, and it fuels him to fight, not using brute strength but through agility and dodging. However, realizing she can't show her real power, Fake Fong uses her brain and starts sucking in the metal sharp leaves to then eject them at the big boy. Yet, as shown in a flashback, Chen has a greater power inside him. Back at the Altar of Fire, Sun Rong tells Guo Hao to move back, so he does what he's told. Tang thinks his childhood acquaintance is still the same old proud crybaby, but unbeknown to him, Guo Hao has something behind his sleeve. Yin tells Tang that the chubby kid has awakened his spirit phoenix. Thanks to a sacrifice from Sun's spirit sword, the flames of the phoenix destroyed Tang's sword and marked the point where Sun Rong has finally grown into a new person. Likewise, Chen also managed to grow and channel his awesome newfound power to stop Bufeng. At the same time, it gets announced that the Altar of Wood was captured by the one and only Ling, making the score 4-1 to the away team. In light of all the failures, Liu Ying gets fed up and blows her cover to get the job done once and for all. We learn that Ling managed to take the Altar of Wood by splitting from Froggy 2 and sneaking away. The Demon King used the webs Yin spread to locate the girl and then violate her in an H-anime type way. We get to see the bring up of Ling, how he suffered from childhood to fit, as well as experiences emotions in general since the amulet surprises everything. Incidentally, the amulet would break if Ling lets his emotions run wild. Hence, when he first met Sun Rong, He acted cold even though he was feeling some type of way in his heart. The same can be said about the first time he managed to make friends. Although Ling was genuinely happy, he had to act indifferent and keep control of his emotions, but now with the amulet broken, things are different. Froggy too, as well as Jinkei, point out how Ling's emotions are fluctuating, as he was struggling to restrain himself from experiencing the good feels. And the more he tried to suppress them, the more the good memories came rushing in, hurting him physically and mentally due to his force instability. However, soon Rong managed to make her way to his side last second to calm him down, and together they claimed the last point to win. The teachers are proud of what they see, Pan is happy about this romantic win, Chie is crying about her school loss, and Papa Wang is shedding tears of joy seeing his boy experiencing, as well as living a genuine moment. Sadly, once they changed the cam to the altar of metal, the teachers saw Chen badly hurt between Guohao's arms. Chie is confused as the kids are not supposed to get that hurt without being transferred to the real world unharmed. She explains that the only way to overpower the Guardian's force and actually kill someone in the arena, one must be a very high-level cultivator, which none of the kids are. Or so she thought. Liu Ying appears from nowhere and delivers a fatal blow to Sun Rong's back, forcing her soul out and to disappear between the unstable Wang Ling. Ladies and gentlemen, shit has hit the fan. Froggy arrives to freeze a time, but Ling is too powerful and breaks through with his anger to punch the living hell out of the assassin, who keeps talking shit not realizing she was outmatched. Liu Ying tries to put a dent in Ling's face but ultimately fails in the face of sheer power. The lad didn't go Super Saiyan mode, he went Broly mode, on her ass. Thankfully, Ling is a good-hearted man at his core. He stops at the last second and goes to check on Sun Rong's body. Ling tries to heal her but fails, since Liu Ying's hit is fueled with unimaginable hatred. Froggy presents his master with two choices: either keep time frozen and Sun Rong stays in this barely alive state, or go back in time as if nothing happened. Ling takes a moment to replay. No, I choose neither. I will take this world and restart it. Yup, you heard that right. The dude is so powerful he is restarting the world over and over till one doesn't get destroyed, all with the palm of his hand. However, no matter what, Sun Rong life force is far gone. No matter how many times he reset time, the ending is the same. Ling asks about Froggy's power and concludes that with enough force, he can rewind time, creating a new timeline. In the new timeline, we are back where we started, in the first episode. Like before, Wang Ling gets pressured by seniors, but this time his boys come to the rescue. In class, he looks at the desk where Sun sits but finds another girl instead. Although it seems he's been losing his memories slowly, Ling still sees Sun Rong's face in the windows of cars. And as time goes on, he starts adapting to this new peaceful world, living the life he always wanted. Yet, due to the creation of the new world and the time flow stoppage in the old one, the new world is starting to suck the force of the old one, and eventually the old one will cease to exist. Meanwhile, in the underworld, the new overseer of the Land of the Dead figures out that Sun Rong is related to some high-ranking ancestors, making her some kind of VIP. Therefore, they send her back to the Land of the Living, so Ling doesn't destroy the world. Back on Earth 2.0, we see Ling going to the theme park he went to with Sun on their date. Joey does a funny cameo in the new world as a worker in the theme park. As the day continues, the lads decide to ride the Ferris wheel. During the ride, Ling starts crying without knowing the reason why. After being filled in on the situation, Sun Rong and Jinky team up to destroy the new world and bring back the lover boy. After a bit of struggle, Sun managed to locate Wang Ling and then stabbed him back to reality. The boys tell Ling, "Go on, someone is waiting for you," proving once again that the power of love, as well as friendship, can withstand the destruction of the space-time continuum. Reunited together, the main group fixes their timeline, puts an end to the assassin, and wins the competition. When Froggy arrived, we learned that once the timeline got reversed, Sun Rong forgot all the recent memories they experienced. Ling was good with that, as their feelings will eventually find each other, but it will be damn tricky since Papa Wang has put the new amulet on Ling, sealing his feeling once again, a sacrifice that Ling took in hopes of world peace. The end. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.